Welcome to AltJake Takes On. And here's AltJake.
Hello again, everybody. This is AltJake and AltJake Takes On, episode number 9. I am here with my buddy George, as always. Really, right off the bat, we want to thank everybody for watching, liking, subscribing. We are growing every day, getting more subscribers, more watch hours pretty much every day. It jumps more than I expected to, so we just want to thank each and every single one of you. George, how you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. So
ready for an action-packed episode today.
Yeah, we're gonna get right into doing our WrestleMania preview, and we're gonna also talk about we both went back and rewatched the Bret Hart Steve Austin match that's going into the Hall of Fame from WrestleMania 13. So we're gonna talk about that too. Real quick, just kind of getting some notes out of the way real fast. We've got our normal Sunday night spaces, with this Sunday being WrestleMania night 2 and Easter. We've just decided we're going to take a break this week. We won't do Sunday night spaces this week, but we will be back and better than ever the next weekend at our regular time of 8:05 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be good there. Just kind of wanted to get that out now and let everybody know that we've just decided, hey, it's probably best to just take a pause for this 1 week.
Too much going on.
Yeah, there's so much, and everybody's got not only family stuff, but watching. I mean, if you watch NXT, and then you've got the Hall of Fame, and it's just, there's enough content out there that what we'll do is we will talk about all of that the next week and get everybody's opinions and get involved and kind of go from there. So we just kind of wanted to get those notes out of the way really quick, and let's just jump into it. We'll try to take this match by match, night by night, and see how it kind of goes. But here's the overall card for WrestleMania night 1. So I guess we'll just kind of start with the first match, at least what we think is going to be, is YEETLEMANIA. I still think this is the best way to start off the show, especially since we're all pretty convinced, at least on this match, that Jay's going to be the one who walks away. I think he'll get beat up a lot and have an amazing comeback, and everybody will love it. And you've got the big energy of the crowd being able to do the yeeting for as long as you can. They'll have the energy, is my point. You get them in at the beginning as opposed to
you're not
3 hours into the show. Huh?
You're not going to like me on this one.
I like you. I always like you.
No, I don't think Jay's going to win.
I mean, I could see that happening.
I hope not, but
I still think, especially because I'm starting to lean more. It's kind of spoiler alert. I think Cena might actually be winning and winning for that title. I feel like you've got to do it for this one, but maybe not. You never. It's either way. I feel like for the entrance alone, you got to lead off the show with this. Which also, to your point, if they are going to have him lose, get it out of the way, and then they've got 6 more matches to, prepare themselves with it. So
I'm of the opinion this is the WrestleMania where a lot of people aren't going to be happy.
Okay, so it's like the Empire Strikes Back WrestleMania, where it ends on the sour. I could see that. I
just have a feel. I don't know why. When we go through the matches, you'll start seeing my picks are leaning toward the heel side more than they are the babyface side. I get you. No, I get, and that's the thing too is. Yeah, and the picks are always kind of fluid too, because you never know what's going to happen. So I still think Jay's the winner on this one, but I could easily see them not. And like I said, especially with leading it off, I could see that kind of giving people that, oh no, it's fine, forget about it and move forward. So yeah, I'm going with Gunther.
So. All right, no, that makes sense. No, I get you. So then I don't know what they'll kind of do either way after that, but I feel like early on the show you'll probably get the fun match of the evening of Rey Mysterio versus what is it, El Grande Americano, the Luchador, as I like to keep saying. But this is not mask versus mask as far as I know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is unmasked. But
unless they add it tonight,
surprised if they save it. Yeah, right. That is true. We are, spoiler alert, we're recording, and I'll get this posted before SmackDown goes live. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I feel like Ray's going to win this one, but I do think it'll be fun. I think it's great that Chad's getting a WrestleMania match because I know he didn't get one last year, and he really he deserves it. I mean, he's one of the hardest workers out there. He can do just about anything and work with anyone. So I think it'll be a spectacular match, but I don't think I don't see him winning it.
This is going to be one of those matches that has a lot of things going on in the periphery, so to speak.
Oh, for sure.
I think you're going to see. I'm picking El Grande on this one.
Okay.
I think it's too soon for him to lose, and Ray doesn't affect anything if he wins or loses. It doesn't matter to him at all. You're going to see a lot of weird stuff going down.
Yeah, I didn't, and honestly, I kind of, for some reason, didn't think about that, but you're right. I mean, they both have stables with them in factions, so, and that is how you get all those people on the card, so it does track and make a lot of sense, actually, when you say it on that one. Actually, you know what? You've convinced me, actually, on this one. I think you're right, because it's not mask versus mask. You can continue it. They have talked about, I don't think they've announced it yet, but of going to Mexico or Mexico City for a PLE, as far as I understand.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna, if they do a mask for mask, Jake, and I have a feeling that when they unmask El Grande, it's not going to be Chad.
Right. I feel like if they do,
there could be a lot of, like I said, a lot of stuff going on in the periphery that they're going to switch out. It's going to be like a doink situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they do make it mask versus mask, you're going to have a different Gable come out from inside the ring. I mean, doink's a comparison, but also what about Eric Angle when they had Kurt's brother come in and take the pin? That was always that was a great one. I remember that. That was,
there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here.
Oh, yeah.
And El Grande, so we're going to go.
Yeah, no, I am too. I think El Grande Americano is the way to go on this one, because I think that'll either continue the feud either with Ray or with whomever, however it kind of keeps it going, because it's obviously an angle that's getting over. So I didn't realize he had American Made put into the star on the top of it. I mean, that's
cool.
Yeah, no,
if Ray wins, it's done.
Right.
You can't squash this yet. This is good stuff. This is why I watch SmackDown.
Yeah, no, I get you. And plus, too, it's one of those things where, it's definitely like, I feel like they knew it was going to get over to a point, but it's definitely gotten more over than it probably. But that's Chad. I mean, that's what Gable does. He gets things over. All right. Agreed. So another match here. I guess we go. Let's start for some of the title matches. There is LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. I'll let you go. I've kind of just been running and taking over on it. Like I apologize for that. Yeah. Well, people want to hear more from George. So what are your thoughts on this? We'll let you start on this one.
Well, first off, we're just putting the matches the way we think they're going to go, and I'm sure WWE is going to swerve everyone that thinks they have the inside track on this.
Right.
Make quotation marks.
Yeah. The only thing anybody knows is that the title or the triple threat is the main event. That's it. The rest of it, we got nothing.
What this match should be is Jacob coming in and destroying LA Knight in less than 5 minutes.
I wholeheartedly agree. I feel bad because I do love LA Knight and he's fun and he's the over, which is, I mean, it won't hurt him. I just think Jacob just needs to be, for lack of a better term, just a monster. Like he just needs to be. I know YouTube doesn't like certain words, but iller with a K, like it's just who he needs to be.
Killer's fine.
I know. I was just making fun. I know. Well, it's funny. We've yet to have, knock on wood, any issues with with anything yet, but it's one of those. But again, that's where I think he just needs to come out and just murk LA Knight. So maybe they could do something where they have him like hit him in the back or in backstage, or there's something where he does some sort of heel advantage. But even so, I don't think it needs to be. They need to show that like this guy is the future, and then he holds the U.S. title for as long as he needs, as long as they feel like it, because that also keeps him away from the world title picture, which I mean he's clearly ready for, but the world title picture's got so much going on, and then there's people that are going to age out. He, very similar to Braun Breaker, is 1 to 2 to 3 years from being the guy, one of the top stars, and this is where it starts. I mean, it's already started, but this is kind of where it'll really start when you look back at the documentary of his career in 10-15 years.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that LA Knight actually had the title. That's how it's been. So I don't. I mean,
that was how it was too when it was on Shinsuke before. I mean, it's one of those things where it just
they need somebody. They need somebody to go, hey, look, I hold this title and I'm a friggin' beast.
Monster. Yeah, and that's also a good thing too, where you can have the I mean, how well did it work for Gunther with the Intercontinental title for 600 and whatever days where I big, I strong, you take it from me. Nope. Dead.
This is
next.
The guy right
nope.
Here.
Next. Yeah. And he's the Samoan version of that, and yeah, so I'm ready for that. And I think it'll be fun. I think it'll elevate the title and it'll be awesome. And then it'll be fun to see whoever does take it off of him when they do. It'll probably be the same trajectory of whenever that does happen. It'll be because, hey, he's in the title picture. So makes sense to me for sure.
He's going to go on a long, almost a year run with this.
I was just going to say, I was literally, as I was speaking and I cut myself off and it didn't, but I was thinking like it might be until next year's Mania that he finally loses it.
I think so.
Would make a lot of sense. I mean, he's yet to eat a pin, right? I mean, I know he's been on some losing sides and tag matches and stuff, but I mean, has he taken a pin yet? At least if he has, it would have to have been because of, I'm like, I don't think Strowman ever beat him, did he? I mean, I know they had some backs and forths and like there was some disqualifications and stuff. But I can't remember yet. If someone please in the chat point us out if we're wrong. I am not someone who gets things right all the time. I am very much.
I am. No, I'm not. Just kidding.
No, I love it. I am. That's great. But yeah, I hope this is a squash and Jacob Fatu goes on a nice long title reign, and it'll be interesting if they can. That would be a way also too if they can keep him as a heel, because clearly he's getting some babyface reactions and people are, because he's so charismatic and just awesome. But if you have a lot of babyfaces challenging him and him just destroying, kind of like Brock Lesnar back in the day, where you're just like, good Lord. And yeah, so that's fun to look forward to. This is one of the things I'm definitely most interested in on it. Another match that I'm probably not as super interested in, but should still be fun, is the other title match on the card of, or one of the other title matches on the card, the War Raiders versus the Boo Day. So I kind of heard your like little there, and yeah, no, I hear you. It's kind of like yeah.
This is I don't want to see the New Day as champs again.
Right.
I've seen it. I don't want to see it anymore. I mean, they're good as heels. They're doing really good work. But you just put the titles on the War Raiders, last month, I think, right?
I feel like it was a little longer ago than that, but it wasn't too much. You're right.
Let them
it wasn't.
Let them keep it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And that's where I think that maybe somehow Big E gets involved, and maybe, I don't know, obviously he won't take a bump, but maybe like he manages a new team that they're bringing up from NXT or something, because that they denied his offer to be their manager. I'm not sure. I could see that somehow costing him, or just the War Raiders win clean. I'm not 100% on that part of it, but I feel like you got to keep it on the War Raiders.
I've heard
forward, at least for now.
I've heard that Big E thing getting kicked around, and I don't know.
I don't either. I feel like that could be a way of doing it where there's a distraction or something. But my point is, I wanted to stay on the War Raiders as well. I think it's the better move, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to see enough interference and shit in other matches.
That's a very valid point. There's going to be a lot of afterbirths on a lot of these things, and a lot of run-ins, and a lot. I mean, they've got a big roster. You got a lot of people you got to get on the card, especially with the Andre Battle Royal being tonight. And so, that's another one. So then the other title match on night one, we'll just kind of run through them all, is Tiffany and Charlotte. The match that feel like everybody was saying, it's dead. No one's talking about it. Blah, they got bored with it. And then boom, all of a sudden they heated that sucker up right away.
I was one of those people. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I kind of was with the build-up. I was always excited for the match because as much as I don't like Charlotte's character ever, and she's whatever she is, she can put on great matches. I mean, in my opinion, the best women's match I've ever seen is Charlotte versus Rhea at WrestleMania 39. That a match where Rhea went over. It was great. Like that's one of the best wrestling matches I've seen, period. just in general.
You discuss any great women's match besides Bayley and Sasha, you have Charlotte's in every conversation.
Pretty much, yeah. And so I feel like, and as long as she puts Tiffy over in that right way, I mean, I guess they could have Charlotte win with a fuck finish or something, but I feel like this is Tiffany's full ascension because this is where she's at, you know. I mean, she's a star. She got over. She was over when she first got to with the first Elimination Chamber last year was really her first main roster thing, and I know it was Australia, but she was over, and they tried to, for as long as they could, keep her as that bitchy heel, and the fans were just like, "Now we like her," and that's where it is. So I feel like Tiffany's going to win this one, and. You know, and then maybe that'll make Charlotte humble or go through her own sad Corbin phase or something and come back more evil. Or I don't know. That was my first way of looking at it. Then my second way of looking at it's what I'm sticking with. This feud basically just got started. I do not want to see it end just yet, so I think Charlotte wins, and Tiffany has to wait until SummerSlam. Because I love this story now. I'm into it. I don't want to see it end. I love it. I'm into it. That's a great problem to have for where they are with it. But what I was gonna say when you said SummerSlam, but they also could do, as we talked about on a previous episode of I think it was one of our Sunday Spaces actually, was Evolution 2. The Women's Evolution pay-per-view, or PLE, I guess it would be now.
It hasn't been announced yet.
It hasn't, but I feel like that's something they would. I'm betting that if they're going to announce it during WrestleMania would be very, very smart. When you have the most eyes on your product, would be.
I agree with that 1,000%. That's the time to do it,
right? I think either before or after this match, or before or after the women's triple threat of night 2. I feel like that's your. I mean, like, that's where you're going to have the eyes on the product. You're going to showcase the women. Like, if there's a time to do it, that's the time, I would think. So,
yeah, so I'm going with Charlotte.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I'll go with Tiffy. I like this. We got some differences. This is fun. Not that we bet on anything, but I like it. This is fun. This is a good time. I think there's 2 more left. Yeah, we've got the Naomi versus Jade, which this is cool that this is the first ever women's singles match not for a title in WrestleMania history. That's pretty cool. I will say that. And the work that Naomi has done in those vignettes and the heel work that she's done, she's fantastic. We haven't seen much of Jade, but we all, at least I still remember how good she looked doing the physical part of it in the Elimination Chamber. So I'm looking forward to this match. I feel like this shouldn't be a 15 to 20 minute banger. This should be about bell to bell, 8 to 10 minutes at most, and be a good showcase for Jade to show how great she is. I'm a little interested in what the finish will be, because I feel like if Jade wins, that kind of ends that story.
Yep.
But only maybe.
You know where I'm going?
I'll see. All right. Well, where are you going? What are you thinking?
You said 8 to 10 minutes of actual ring time, which I think will be the case, but there's going to be a lot of shenanigans going on here too, with Bianca and whatever side she's picking on this whole thing. I picked Naomi to win this match. I like this story too, and I want to see it keep going.
So, all right. So I'm a little. So the thing about that is I don't know if Bianca's going to get too involved yet on this one, because her match is until the next night.
Right.
And I think that Bianca is going heel with Naomi. And that's where I feel like Naomi can lose this match and then Bianca kind of comes out from it. So to keep it fun, I'll go with Jade in this one. I think Jade wins it. But that's why they continue the story with that leading to Jade versus Bianca. Again, Women's Evolution pay-per-view. That does seem like a great time to have that match. You know, like have it be a good match, and then in a couple of years they can have it run it back at Mania, because it definitely is a possible Mania match. But with where Jade's star is and with her ring time now, I feel like that'd be the perfect time for it. But this is going to be interesting. It will be fun.
I'm thinking Bianca makes up an appearance here and shows her true colors, and then goes with Naomi.
So I think if she does, if she does, she helps Naomi win, but it looks accidental. Like she's not showing her true colors yet, because she still wants to go into Sunday being a face for now, but I definitely think like when you run it back and they re-show it, you'll see that, you know, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. You know, she's been a heel from the beginning. She was the one who told Naomi where Jade would be to attack her. Like they've been doing it from the beginning, I think is the story, but we will see. We will see. It'll be interesting. Speaking of interesting, I mean, obviously what everybody's kind of waiting for with night one is the triple threat main event of Seth. And they still, sometimes they have the freaking, sometimes they don't. I feel like someone's got to figure that out and kind of run with it. Is he freaking Rollins or not? Or is he Seth Franklin Rollins, like some people have mistyped in a couple of different ads, versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. You know, the battle for, it's funny, all the talk of Cody Rhodes' soul. I feel like this is the battle for Paul Heyman's soul, which, I mean, if he has one, I realize as I said that out loud, maybe that's in like the briefcase, like Pulp Fiction, you know, you pull it out and it's, yeah. But I mean, this should be fun. I've seen a lot of different thoughts and where people are thinking this is going to go. One of the cool things is I feel like any winner, any way they do this, there's stories that can branch out from it however you want to go.
Yep.
Which I think is the best part of it. And that to me still, when I talk about Triple H and his booking and I put it over, that's the number one thing that I put over is that he plants enough seeds to where if somebody gets hurt or if a storyline isn't working, you know, or you've got something that you planted for a seed back in, you know, April that's going to work out back, you know, in November all of a sudden and it connects or whatever. So,
yeah, I've played with this one for a long time, dude.
I'm still up in the air because there's different options. Oh, you're not? I'll let you go first then. I will let you go first because I pick Rollins.
Okay. Because I think the CM Punk Roman stuff can go in a specific spot and it can be perfect, and Seth can just capitalize on their hatred toward each other. Because Seth is the third wheel in this match to begin with, right? You think or no?
Yes.
He's like there just because they threw him in, kind of.
Yeah, well, I mean, it works. So it does work in the general sense that he does hate both. Like, I feel like Seth actually hates Roman and Punk more than Roman and Punk hate each other. So he is the third wheel in a sense, but it's an even wheel. Like, it does make it a tricycle. Right, like it works. But yes, I see what you mean.
I'm picking Seth. I love the work, dude. I've told you this 1,000 times since we started this. And even before that, the serious Seth is so much freaking better, dude. It's
absolutely
awesome. It's awesome to watch him get into the character, and I'm like, this is the guy I want. I don't want the guy going, bleh!
Yes.
I want the guy going, I hate your fucking guts. I'm going to kill you. That's the guy I like.
Yeah. Die.
Well,
yes, that's the Seth I want. Yeah, no, I feel like that's where the freaking is. When the freaking isn't there, he's great. He's awesome. He's right. When you throw in the freaking, he tries to be Jared Leto Joker, and it just doesn't work. And nobody.
I got no problem with the wardrobe and stuff. That's fine. Do your thing.
Yeah, whatever. That doesn't bother me. Especially, well, I always like too that he makes sure to do a fun, like if he's gonna do something physical, he usually is showing up, like, you know, where he wore the red boots, or even like the thing with Heyman where he wore like the 70s leather boots that he was wearing when he almost stomped Heyman. Like, I feel like he makes it fun with it. Like, it's fine. I don't mind that. But I feel like it's what he does in the gear. Like when he's being super annoying, then it accentuates the annoyingness of the gear, you know? But I feel like if he's being good and normal and not a complete douchebag, you know, then he can wear whatever he wants and it works. That's
I love Seth for the win, but I can see where anybody can win this.
Yeah, and the thing is, I
won't be disappointed either way, Jake. Let's go with that.
I agree. And now here's the thing. So just where a couple of different ways of it, and then I'll say who I think is going to win it. But I think if Seth does win it, which is where I'm still kind of been leaning, because then I do think he will then be aligned with Heyman, and they'll both be aligned with The Rock, which will then cost Cody the title, which then also leads to, I still think Jay wins. Jay's first perfect feud would be against heel Seth with Heyman at his side. So there's a lot of it that makes sense.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm sorry. You mentioned something. Rock put up the 3 fingers. The third member, Seth Franklin Rollins. That's what I was.
That's what I think too. If that's what that means, I still am not 100% sure if that's what that means.
Thank you.
That's why we are a team, my friend. That's why I don't want to do this solo, because I would forget different things, or you say it's better that way. It works. It's a much better partnership, and that's where I actually think Heyman and Seth could be a fun partnership for Heyman. I don't know if that is where it's going to go, with Heyman turning and actually aligning with Seth, but I do think Seth does come out the winner. I think that people are automatically assuming that Heyman's going to align with Seth and cost everybody, and it'll be the reason, which definitely could happen, but that part I'm unsure of. I definitely think Seth, after talking, I think Seth is the winner, because I don't think, obviously, Roman doesn't need it. Punk is literally like Oscar nominee. He's just happy he got nominated. He wanted to be in the WrestleMania main event. And he's even said in multiple interviews since he's returned, it's not about the winning. It's not about that part of it. It's that, I want to be able to be part of the team and help the story. And I don't, even when we talked about the Rumble, he was like, it's a better story if I don't win the Rumble. And clearly they had a good story and figured it out. So yeah, no, but I would be surprised if Roman won, just because I don't see why he would need, that would surprise me. I think nothing would upset me. I'd be happy with whatever, because I'm, as I've said pretty much from the beginning of the show, Triple H has my trust, because he's yet to really fuck anything up. There's been some stuff that's been like on, or hey, that could have been better if, but overall as a whole, I'm excited to watch the shows every week. So
yeah, I don't think I agree with everything you said, except for the Heyman going with Seth thing. I don't think Heyman's going to be with. I don't think that's going to be the. Just my thought.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying I'd heard a lot of people say.
Yeah, I don't see it going that way, because I don't see
Heyman
and The Rock in the same stable. That don't make sense. And
I don't either.
If Hogan's not the third man, it's going to be Seth.
Hogan's not the third man, brother. No, the only reason. Because I agree with you 100%. I've just heard a few different takes on it, and have gotten me to think about it. The only way I could see it working is if Rock doesn't actually get too involved, and Heyman is like the mouthpiece for The Rock.
Could work.
That I could see. That's the only way I think it would work for it in that sense. But I'm kind of with you, where I'm like, I don't think so. So, but yeah, no, I think it's going to be a great night one. I mean, shoot, we just spent 27 minutes talking about it because we think it's going to be fun. So that's awesome. No, I definitely I'm looking forward to it. And so, yeah, that was night one. All right. So that was night one. On to night two. Not really sure what they're going to kick it off with, so we'll just kind of run into what. We'll start with the fun match, so at least of an idea. The Women's World Championship, which actually could lead off night two. I know they like to lead off with the big match, and what we were kind of talking about before is about Bianca, if she's going to turn heel. I think she's probably the one. If she does go full heel, I think that's because she wins the title for this one. But I've also seen people kind of giving me the thoughts that Io could win the title and defend and kind of have a title story from there, because Rhea and Bianca can have a singles feud that they've never had on the main roster, and doesn't need a title. But I'm not really sure if that's where I would go with it. I think that Bianca probably ends up winning because she turns full heel, and if she does that, I feel like she's got to align with the Street Profits, because they've gone heel, and the three of them together looking all cool and badass, and her being the leader of the group would be pretty cool, I feel like.
Yeah, I've thought about this one a little bit. I don't see Io keeping it. I like her and everything. I just don't like her as a champion.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, Bianca.
No, I get you.
Exactly what you
that
said.
Makes sense.
It's Bianca.
Yeah. So it's. Who do you think is going to end up taking it home then?
This match, this winner?
Yeah.
Oh, Bianca.
All right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think my headset cut out a little bit there and I didn't hear you. And all good. No, that just makes the most sense, in my opinion, to see Bianca win and kind of go from there. So, the next match that I got up here, at least from what I've got here, is AJ versus Logan, which I think will be the show stealer, I guess. Maybe the showstopper, the Shawn Michaels portion of the show.
Yeah, this is the match where I kind of predicted that Karrion Kross will help AJ win this match.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I could see that. Yeah. and then AJ goes heel or goes with him in whatever group he's doing, or they go into a story somehow with it. I could see that.
I wouldn't have said that if I didn't see the Cross put his hands behind his back and take the fabulous forearm thing that he does. And
the phenomenal forearm.
Yeah, when he did it at the end of the show the other night when Cross
and then he cut that promo.
On, so I think Cross helps him. We'll see.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That is a good point. That's, see, you got me thinking about this, but I feel like I was just automatically assuming Logan was going to win because, AJ's got enough credit within it, but that could kind of continue that story kind of going forward with it. So I could easily see that. I was kind of up in the air on this one and I needed a reason to pick somebody. So I think you've got me. I think I'll pick AJ on this one too. That makes the most sense because that continues. Plus I want Cross to get involved because I've been watching all of his promos on X or YouTube or whatever he does. And the guy's awesome. Like he really needs to have more. Just more. That's he needs more. That's kind of the end of that one. That's right.
Yeah, I think him and AJ would make a really good team, actually.
Yeah. No. Oh gosh, I always love the team. I always love the idea of a monster and a fast small guy on a team. That's why I think it's probably because I grew up, in that time when X-Pac and Kane were a tag team for a while, and I loved them as a pairing. You got the short little guy to kick ass and take a beating, and then the big dude to come in and clean house. It always seemed to work. So yeah, that'll be.
I think they're going to give Cross his last chance, so to speak. He's had a couple chances and they haven't gone anywhere. Now put him with AJ and see what he can do. And if this don't work, well, sorry, thanks for coming.
Yeah, obviously he's a Triple H guy and he's willing to put in the work, and he's obviously, one of those guys that'll do. He's a team player, he's willing to do what the coach asks of him. But yeah, I still think part of him is still recovering from the Lord Humongous mask that he had to wear when Vince was still around. I mean, it's hard to forget. That is a hard to forget. Yeah. So another match that's intriguing, and I guess we'll find out what happens tonight, I think, is the Randy Orton versus who match. I think obviously they're trying to make it seem from last week that it's going to be Solo, which would make a lot of sense, just because Solo doesn't have a match on the card, but I feel like he'll get involved somehow in Fatu's stuff, so that'll get him onto the show. If it's not him, I could see them. It's funny, looking at this picture, I obviously did. I was gonna say, yep, somebody put an outline of Aleister Black, but all of his promos have the 4 and the 25 in them, and 425 is the first SmackDown after Mania. So still think that's where he's going to debut, but I could see if it's going to be anybody, I could see it being Rusev. That would make sense, and people would remember who he is in Mania, and that would be cool. But I still think it would be Solo. Either way, I think Randy's probably going to win the match, which unless it's Rusev, I don't think you could bring Rusev back and have a big showing just to beat him. That's old Vince McMahon booking, or what Tony Khan seems to do since he just debuted Josh Alexander and beat him.
Yeah, this depends. I have nothing to
right.
If this even becomes a match, I mean, we don't even know it's going to be a match.
I still think it will be on some level. But who will it be?
Well, I'll say the thing because I don't know.
Yeah, well, if it's there, here's the thing. It's kind of easy for me in my thought of it. If it's Solo or like Tama or somebody like that, Randy's going to win. If they make it be somebody like a surprise and an unknown, and it's somebody coming back either from injury or re-signing with the company, I would see that being a loss, unless it's like, well, I was going to say Tyler Bate, but he came back already. I mean, I guess Ilya Dragunov is due to come back, but I don't know.
Not yet.
Yeah, well, I just knew he's kind of from his injury time. But yeah, this is at least wanted to mention it and talk about it. But yeah, I would pick Randy in the general sense, but it's going to kind of be based on who he goes up against. But it'll be, it's Randy, so he could literally go out there and not know who it's going to be, and he could throw a great match together because he knows what he's doing. So
see what goes on. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Another title match is the women's tag title match with champions Liv and Raquel versus Lyra, Valkyria, and Bayley. I mean, I feel like this. You don't want to be mean, but this is just a match to get people on the card. But Liv deserves to be on the WrestleMania card, like the other ladies do as well. But Liv has just had a star-making year. Like, it's almost kind of sad that she's in this match and not a major title match after how amazing of a star-making year she had being the women's champion and doing the stuff with Dom and being just generally, an awesome character to watch. Whether you love her or hate her, her segments were enjoyable, and she's gotten a heck of a lot better in the ring too. That match with Bayley on Monday was, I mean, when she did the suplex and the Eddie Guerrero kind of dance, when you could tell she was in pain. You heard her hit the ground from doing the suplex over the stairs. So I don't see any reason why they would lose the tag titles in this one. I think your big story is going to be if Bayley or Lyra turns heel. Everybody thinks it's going to be Bayley, which is why I'm thinking it'll be Lyra that would turn heel if that is how it happens and what goes down. But I think Liv and Raquel keep their titles.
Yeah, I think they'll keep them, and I'm really probably going to be getting snacks during this match.
Yeah, it is what it is. The entrances should be fun. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not gonna change the channel or be mad at it or put it on mute or something. But yeah, this is probably another one that doesn't need to go very long either. Bell to bell, maybe 10 minutes. It'll be fine. Again, though, people deserve to be on the card, Liv specifically, and especially from this match. So, speaking of more people that deserve to be on the card, and I think we'll have a great match, is going to be Drew versus Damian Priest. And this is one. Yeah, this like the Sin City Street Fight is what they're calling. This will be the match that kind of goes around the stadium and shows different angles in different parts of the arena. Like maybe they'll go fight because there's a nightclub in the stadium, so maybe they'll go have a fight in there or something. But it'll be fine. It'll be fun. I assume that Drew will win. Both will look strong and have great moves. It'll be fun, but I feel like Drew, again, if Uso's going to win the title, he needs strong people to face, and Drew would be a good opponent as well if they don't go Seth the initial route. But even if they do, he's going to need multiple opponents, I would think, if they want to solidify his title reign. If he wins the title, clearly, obviously, that's still up in the air. But this will be fun. Anybody saying it's a throwaway match, I feel like sounds kind of dumb, just because like this, Drew won the title at Mania last year and held it for less than 6 minutes because Damian cashed it in. If nothing else, that creates why it's a feud and why they hate each other, but they've been able to build it into a good, fun story, and it'll be a great match of two giant guys beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I get why they're doing the match. I forgot it was on WrestleMania, to be honest with you. They've been doing a lot with Drew losing, so I don't know. Yeah, that is true. Win, right? Yeah, that's why I think he's got to win as well to put him back in the time. But if they have him lose, because he was always every time he's lost recently, it's because of his own hubris. Like he lost in the Elimination Chamber because he got up in Cena's face, and same with the Royal Rumble, and and that's even like when he lost to, I think it was Jimmy Uso, I think, beat him once, and it was because he was, or whoever beat him with the roll up. That kind of stuff has happened because of that. So maybe that could change his character, take him down that path. But also too, I don't think it hurts Priest to lose strong to Drew, who's he's a two-time world champion and has the history. I think it'll be interesting either way, and I'm curious to see where they go with it. But yeah, I'm more curious to see what they're doing with Priest.
Yeah, that's a good point, because he's kind of been floundering a bit, and this feud has given him something to do, but where does he go after that? Because because I know they've had him as a world champion before, so it's hard. But is he really in that upper echelon, or does he kind of dip back into the IC title picture? Which, great segue, because that's the next match we can talk about, is the 4-way for the IC title, which it's another one of those things where it's people would rather see a one-on-one match and, for that. But again, everybody here deserves to be on the card. Dom and Finn, Judgment Day basically were the backbone of Raw for how long? Braun Breaker is the future of the company and an amazing athlete. And Penta has literally been on fire since his debut, not only with his matches, his selling, but the live crowd loves him. I don't know the merch numbers, but I saw that video where he sees his first merch check, and even through the makeup, you can see his eyes get big, like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's where we kind of talked about before on Spaces at different times of where, you might get a bigger salary contract from AEW, but you're going to make more money overall in WWE if you make yourself a star. And That's what he's done. So this is going to be interesting to where this match goes. You know, this match.
Yeah, I don't see changing the title. I don't see a need to change it to anybody.
I don't either. So here's the thing. The only way I see the title changing at this point here is if Gunther does beat Jay. Because if Gunther beats Jay, have Braun lose the title here because of a Finn or Dom screwy finish where Braun doesn't get pinned or something stupid, or like Carlito takes out Braun and makes, whatever it is, so that then Braun can challenge Gunther for the world title. I don't know if that's necessarily ready for that to happen yet, but I could see that being a path to go down. I don't think so either. I would think Braun just keeps it at this point and stays strong with it because, again, he's very similar to Fatu where, once he loses this title, you kind of have to put him into the main event scene with who he is and how amazing he is. And the main event scene is just so crowded, especially now with Cena in his last year. Like, I feel like he could be another one, like we said about Fatu, where he keeps the title. I mean, at least through SummerSlam, possibly, through to Mania next year, or maybe he loses it at Survivor Series or something and then has a great showing in the Rumble. I don't know. He's got to be in the main event of Mania sooner than later. I don't think it's next year, but I think it's the year after that.
Dude, when it comes to these 4-man matches, do you like the first pin wins, or what would you like to see in an elimination format?
So I prefer, if I'm going to be honestly for preference, I prefer the elimination style of the matches, which funny you should mention that because I watched a lot of the build up to the Austin and Bret Hart match that we're going to talk about in a bit. And that 4-way that they had with, was it Vader, Taker, Austin, and Hart? Like it's more interesting in that sense where they have it, where they have the elimination style, but then also too with it being the first pin wins, obviously it cuts down on time, and with the bigger show and how much is going on, you need to save time. Plus it has that way. That's the only reason why I'm not saying 100% sure Braun wins, is because he can lose the title without getting pinned, which, it's kind of a cheap way out, but it's a good way to prevent somebody from having to eat a pin if you don't want them to, but still lose their title.
Yeah, see, I kind of wish this was an elimination format. Just for this match, because this match has so much going on. Yeah,
and especially, too, with Dom and Finn, that would kind of almost not negate, but kind of at least put part of that where they can, if they want to, they can team up and take out the other two and then fight each other, which, that'll happen to a point. But if it was an elimination match, there would be a little bit less of that and a lot more cutthroatness. But I think it'll be a great match. It's funny. I actually feel like I like 4-ways better than 3-ways because you have less chance of just somebody kind of sitting there waiting. But I feel like WWE does the best with the matches where they keep it good and flowing, and it'll be entertaining. I'm very interested what happens though with Braun moving forward, because if he keeps the title, it makes a lot of sense, and it's not easy, but you can kind of see where he's going to be booked throughout the summer. But if he loses it, do they have to put him into that world title picture right away? So
this is the one match where I really don't see the guy losing, so I'm picking Braun.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So yeah, so that covers all the matches. Right. Now, so the main event, obviously. Right, I'm just kidding. Let's be real. This is this generation's Rock versus Hogan at WrestleMania 18. This is basically the same idea, just almost even bigger because Cena's in better shape than Hogan was, and it's for the title and actually closing the show. And so, And we talked about before, but there's going to be a lot of run-ins and a lot of stuff and a lot of madness. And if they're going to try to top last year, we're going to have a million of them. So it's going to be at least interesting to see how much they bring into this one when The Rock shows up, and if Cody gets his receipt on Travis Scott, and if Seth wins the night before and does align with Rock, does he cost Cody this year, even though he helped him last year? Like there's so much, and Stone Cold's going to be in the building. Does he get involved? Like, there's just so much on this table that you really can go either way and anyway. I'm really excited for this match though.
This is not listed as any kind of no DQ or anything.
It's not. Yeah. It's not. But that's where I feel like Rock can come out and just say something. You know what I mean? Like, because he did that before. Yeah. Don't you? Yeah, where he's yelling at the ref saying, "I'll fucking fire you," and blah blah blah. So they can get around that. I feel like but they haven't said anything for it within that. That's also true, though. But again, John Cena is going to be on SmackDown in a couple of hours today. So you never know. You know, it's one of those situations where anything can happen. But I'm very torn. Like, I am a self-proclaimed Cody guy. I wouldn't say I was a Cody crybaby. I wasn't anywhere that upset last year about it if he wasn't going to be in the Mania main event. But, you know, as somebody who lost their father at a similar age and can respect Cody's story, and I really just like how he carries himself and how he wants to be the face of the company. It's hard not to root for the guy. So in my heart, I want him to win. But, I mean, it does make a lot of sense to have Cena win, and then Cody can be the chaser, and Cena can also have these title matches against Orton or Punk or however you want to do it. You could also have Cody take some time off. He hasn't taken time off since he came back from the pec injury, has he? Like, he's kind of been full go every show, doing the Today Show, the Tonight Show.
He wants to do
every interview and podcast possible. So I feel like I could see that happening if Cena wins. Is Cody taking a nice deserved vacation until the middle of summer? But we will see. But I think I'm leaning towards Cena winning in this match, though, because of
I'm with Cena 100% on this because it makes more sense in the storytelling procedure. Because I like Cody as a chaser has always been my favorite. Since he's been champion, it's been good. I mean, I'm not disappointed in anything he's done, but when he's facing, it's so much more exciting. Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, that's baby faces in general, right? I mean, that's even what they said about, you know, what's what Kevin Nash has said about Goldberg when he lost or when he took the title off Goldberg. He's better as a chaser. Like, well, yeah, Cody's in the league by himself. Yeah, I fully agree. No, I fully agree. So, I think that's a good way of summing up WrestleMania night 2. So, yeah, that was awesome. I'm really excited for it, and I hope everybody else is too. All right, and so we're still talking about WrestleMania weekend, and so I think the last thing we can talk about, since we went back and both of us went back and rewatched it, is the first ever WWE Immortal Moment that they're, inducting is the word into the Hall of Fame. I guess they're nothing. I like how they say Immortal Moment versus matches, because I feel like there are going to be a lot of different things that just the moment gets inducted versus, specific matches. But this is a perfect one to start. This is for most people, a lot of people, this is their favorite WrestleMania match. I mean, for a little bit older of a crowd, probably the Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat. But from bell to bell, I mean, this is just one of the best matches possible. So, what are your initial thoughts on it here before we get into us rewatching it? I like the fact they picked this match to start off this ceremonial type thing. This is a perfect one to start with because this is the first one where they actually they do a double turn, which people didn't realize at the time, and all sorts of things are going on behind the scenes here that we didn't know was actually happening and what they were trying to do. Because coming into this match, Bret Hart's the babyface and Steve Austin's the heel. So no, double turns have been done in the past and have been done since, but I feel like this is the perfect version of it. And after going back and rewatching it and rewatching some of the build up to it, they're right. Like, this is a perfect turn because you can actually there's a point in the match where you can feel obviously there's got to be people that supported Austin at the beginning. It wasn't like all 16,000 in the Rosemont Horizon were with Bret and then weren't, but it's like how much of the crowd sways. So it was weird to see in the beginning where they introduced Austin and the glass break. You're used to not being able to hear anything, right? Yeah, in this case, it wasn't like that at all. That's true. That is true. And the thing was, I went back. They smartly just posted, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago on the WWE Vault channel, everything that was on TV, not everything, but most of the stuff that was on TV from the buildup of their first match at Survivor Series in
the year before in 1996 and up through this match, and how Steve was calling Bret out when Bret was going and filming. Was it Lonesome Dove? Was that what he was out doing after the WrestleMania 12 loss? And that was one of those things where they had that match, that Survivor Series match, and we talk about it all the time. Yeah, Bret went over, but Austin got himself over. Yeah, and obviously due Bret's help, because anybody wrestles Bret, they're going to get Tom McGee and look better. That's just how that works. He's literally the one who can have a match with the broomstick, put the broomstick over, and make the broomstick actually be a star. That's how great Bret was. But even all the vignettes and the promos back and forth. But when you watch a lot of that stuff, you can hear the announcers are full on, especially at the beginning, behind Bret, but they slowly start to plant the seeds where they're still with Bret, but they'll say things like, oh, he was wrong for using those obscenities on TV, or he was out of line for doing that, but they still supporting Bret. And it's more that with Austin too, about how he takes no nonsense. He's a fighter. He's a tough guy, as opposed to just being a dastardly heel, and it kind of moves forward. But
yeah, this is the very beginning of Bret talking down to America.
Yes, no, I mean that's where it comes
all
up.
Starts. This is where the stuff starts to happen. So this is the time to begin this.
And I just thought it was great too when you're like, for me, watching the match, like you said at the beginning too, where you hear the glass break and there's cheers, but you can hear the music. Like you forget what the music actually sounds like sometimes. It's just the glass break, and then the beginning part you don't really hear until the da-da, because you can't hear it because the crowd's just normally too. And this is really the beginning of that too, because there was a lot of support for him as the anti-hero, but after this match, he was just the hero. And the announcers too, and the commentary were very good about putting over the toughness of Steve and, starting to pull back on him being evil and a villain, and more of just, man, he's the everyman. He takes no nonsense. He's that guy, the tough guy. And I thought it was great. And also too, it's another one having Ken Shamrock be the, special guest referee in the world's tightest biker shorts.
He's the unsung hero of this thing. You don't even realize he's there, which is what you want from your referee.
Yeah, well, and what was cool about watching the thing on the Vault channel, and I highly recommend everybody go back and check that out. It's about 45 minutes, and it really does paint the picture well, especially too of Shamrock, because we all remember Shamrock from his wrestling, what he does after this in the ring and his matches with Rock and all that kind of stuff. But he was still a UFC. I don't know if he was a champion he was known as a submission specialist. He was, one of the most, I don't think they ever called him the most dangerous man in the world, but he was close. Some people called him that. And even when they introduced him, they say from the ultimate fighting world, because it wasn't the UFC then, and MMA wasn't MMA as it is now, but it still did give a very good air of legitimacy. And really, this was Ken Shamrock's introduction into wrestling, which, I mean, he's made the TNA Hall of Fame in his career. He'll probably get inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame one day. So it's kind of cool to see how that all started too.
I'd have to look and see, but I'm pretty sure he was on the card where I was at UFC number 3 in Buffalo.
Wow. Number 3.
I think he was there, but I'd have to look. But this is at the time when UFC was just a fucking bloody.
Oh yeah. No, I remember when it was not even, it's not even, I mean, what you say is it's not close to what it is now, but it wasn't even in the same planet as it is now.
The only rule was no kicking in the balls.
Right. Yeah. I think you couldn't go for the eyes, right? You couldn't go for the eyes. I think there was you couldn't go for the eye gouging. No ball kicking, no eye gouging. The rest of it was fair game. And they would have the matches too of the David versus Goliath with the tiny guy against the giant sumo wrestler or whatever. That was, and it was not legal in many states.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I was just saying not legal in many states. I was surprised you got it in Buffalo. What states was it legal in at that point? Was my question.
New York was one of the only ones that had it, actually, because New York had him.
It doesn't surprise me. But what are you gonna say?
Keep in mind when you tune into this. This is not the main event of the WrestleMania. This is not the main event.
No, because it wasn't.
I thought it was. I forgot.
No, and that was when you watch the build up too, and where. Where Austin, it's the Royal Rumble where Austin wins, but he had been thrown out. Which, when you rewatch that, it is timed so well where there's a commotion on one side of the ring and all the refs are over there. Austin gets thrown out just by Bret where no one else really sees it except for obviously the audience and the announcers and everybody. And then Austin stands up and realizes that all the refs are over there and slides back in. And right away, he takes out Vader and The Undertaker. And then Bret throws, I forget who Bret throws somebody else out, and then Austin throws him out, and it's all done bing, bang, boom. And you realize that that's really how that story kind of starts. And then they have that fatal, or I guess it was the fatal four-way, the final four with Vader, Taker, Austin, and Bret for whoever was going to be for the #1 contendership, but then Michaels loses his smile and it becomes for the title, and Bret wins that, but then Austin screws him. So it's just, there was so much story involved that, yeah, this wasn't for the title and for the main event, but this is what everybody remembers. I mean, if you hadn't gone back and rewatched it, would you have been able to pull out of your hat what the main event was on this card? Because I'm not sure I would have.
I would have. This move you got here reminded me of something. This is the greatest move right off the bat because he can leave this on for as long as he wants. And this was a no holds barred match, right?
Well, yeah, it was a submission match, and they do say, but they make sure to say there's no DQ, no holds barred.
Which leads me to a point, because there's a spot in this match where Hart's got Austin in some kind of hold in the middle, and he's trying to make it to the ropes, and he gets the ropes, and they get a rope break.
Yeah, I feel like that was because it was a submission match and that broke the submission. I saw that too. It did. I agree with you, but I feel like also weird. Too, back then there was differences in the, I agree with you on that though. Like, it shouldn't have mattered, but I think because it was a submission match, they were keeping the trueness of the submission. That's why you had to get them to submit in the ring too. It wasn't like they were doing it outside, as far as I can tell.
I actually remember watching this and I remember the rope break because we all went, "What the hell?"
That's funny.
I remember everyone yelling at the same time because that's what
I also put this picture up for Bret because one of the things that he talks about with the Goldberg situation, when he's that goddamn Bill Goldberg, when he's bitching about that, is that's the people always talk about the sidekick, which is what gave Bret the concussion. But what started it is that he did this move to Goldberg, and if you look, Austin's holding his foot. That's how Bret can do this move and not get hurt, is the other person's got to hold his foot so he can like go down slowly. If you don't hold his foot, all of his weight comes down and he smacks the back of his head.
He still smacks his head pretty good though.
He does, but
I watched it twice.
Yeah, but if you watch the Goldberg one that match where it's like you hear it almost like Ricky Steamboat on the DDT. It's a very loud like, but yeah, this is a great picture otherwise. But when I saw that, it was just reminding me of Bret talking about other good shots too.
Look at the padding they had though. Go back for a minute.
Oh yeah,
that's padding. So yeah, they knew he was going to do it, and that's why.
That's true. Yeah, no, that is true. No, I just liked this another great picture too. Where look at. You can see in the crowd how everybody's just focused in. I like the say it sign too. Oh, I also noticed in the crowd there was a Bret Who sign. I thought that was pretty funny to see. Still going into where there was some Austin fans, but most people were there as Bret fans, at least during the match. But you can see it kind of happening where Bret, like, he's the one who grabs the chair first and he starts.
Grab the bell first.
He's healing. Yeah, that's true. He forgot about the bell. Yeah. Yeah, no. What I also loved about this match too, what I meant to say too at the beginning was they just started fighting in this match. Like right when the bell rang, like Austin runs at him and they start beating each other up. There's no lock up or dancing around or posing or milking the crowd. Like, it's just a fight, and that's something that sometimes when they have those blood feuds in any wrestling, and then it starts with the lockup, like, if I see you anywhere, it's on sight, I'm going to tear you down. And then the bell rings and you start with a collar and elbow tie up. Like, it's fine for most matches. Start. Yeah, exactly. And Austin just comes barreling at him, which also too, Austin, he's at a disadvantage with Bret being a submission specialist, so it makes total logical sense, which was also great too about the weapons and stuff that they use in this match, where when they use the bell or the chair, or like Austin's got like an extension cord he's choking him with and stuff, like they're not pulling spiked bats out from under the ring or barbed wire stapled to a piece of plywood or whatever that we've seen.
They're
it all
just using
made
stuff
sense.
that's there.
Yeah, it all stuff that would be there and be logical and stuff they could use. And boy, did Austin get color for it, which kind of leads to the most famous shot.
Did you see Bret actually cut him?
Yes, because I know where to look. Because I know that he's the one who does it to him. I had to go back and look because I thought I saw it, but yeah, when they're outside, yeah.
He even says, Austin in that pre thing you watched, Austin says, and then the magic happened, and Bret goes, yeah, right in front of everybody.
Right.
Which it did, because you could see him going when he goes into the guardrail, and the announcers say,
yep,
he went into the guardrail head first, and then fucking Hart reaches in. You can see him do it.
I mean, that's like the ultimate sign of like how much respect Bret has. Because I mean, if anybody that you would think isn't gonna let somebody else get their color, it's gonna be Steve. Like just of who he is, he wants to do things himself. He's a guy's guy. Like he always talked about how he usually drove by himself once he became to let Bret do it. That's trust of like, yeah, he can do it. If anybody can slice it, it's gonna be Bret, and he nails it.
And they didn't
really.
This was done, if I remember. They did this without the consent of the higher up.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And it wasn't for a while until they said that they actually did. They acted like it was hard way. That's why they do the. That's why they do it where they do and make sure that he like headbutts the pole too. And even in the commentary, you can hear Vince say, "This doesn't usually happen for us." Like he tried at least twice. He makes a mention that this is irregular for them, trying to make sure like we're family friendly still. Like that's. Yep. You forget how much Vince would do that with his announcing. Like you just remember, what a maneuver and the silly stuff. But he's basically trying to, babyface the company as best he can. Like we're okay, everything's fine. But yeah, I did that. I hadn't seen that part and since I'd seen Bret and him talk about it before, or after that. But yeah, when you see it, yeah, it's
so
pretty obvious he does it.
Previous to this shot you got on the screen. He actually powers out of the sharpshooter the first time.
Right. When he powers out.
That's when the crowd starts to change right there. You're starting to feel a change in the crowd when Austin powers out the first time.
Yeah.
And then he has to pass out.
Yeah. And I also thought what was funny too, there was a part in the if you rewatch it on Peacock, I even wrote down the time just because I thought it was funny. So it's like at 1 minute and 37, or 1 hour and 37 minutes and 50 seconds. King says, because there's a point where Austin's got Bret the sharpshooter, and he says it would be terrible for Bret to have to submit to his own move, the sharpshooter. And King laughs, and Vince goes, "Hey, it could happen, It's very funny for that to be. March 97 and what ends up happening in, November of 97.
Yeah.
Thought that was a funny little foreshadowing, but yeah, the crowd really, I mean, you can feel them building towards Austin as it goes. And the subtle heel work that Bret does to get, because he knows he's building it to it so that when he does, hold him in too long and get in the fight with Shamrock kind of stuff and yelling at him like that, it is the full turn. And I mean, This is the perfect shot of it all where, I mean, Austin gives everything with the blood and how he's just out. And I mean, it's the perfect double turn.
Yeah. He perfectly played dead. Mm-hmm. But the best part at the end here, after he keeps it in, goes after Shamrock, then he goes after the knee again. And that really cements the full turn. Like you said, it was already 95% done at this point.
Right, but
right at the end when he drops him from the sharpshooter, he goes back after him again. That cements it.
Yeah,
and he gives the fan the finger on the way out.
Mm-hmm. Well, he backs away or backs down. I mean, from Shamrock because Shamrock turns up and Shamrock gets in his face and he powders out, and so it's just the perfect turn. But he also still in his mind, as the best heels do, he's justified, and he's only a heel in the States. He keeps that baby faceness on the rest of the world. That's how good he was at it. I mean, and that's why Bret's the best. It's just how it kind of works out. And I don't know if people haven't seen it. I just kind of threw this up as a additional ad for if anybody to watch that Broken Skull sessions with Bret and Austin where they talk about it, because Steve talks about it all the time that he wouldn't have had his career or been who he was without Bret. You know, he puts a lot of that into Bret. And I mean, obviously, like this, the reason it's called the Broken Skull Sessions or Broken Skull Ranch or Broken Skull Beer or whatever, there's a reason for that. And it's because of, you know, this. So it's just cool to see. And I'm glad we went back and rewatched that. And I definitely think that's something everyone should do, especially with, if they're going to be putting these iconic moments into the Hall of Fame, go back and rewatch them. It's the content's right there. It's on Peacock or Netflix or YouTube, however you can get it, but it's definitely worth watching. And I'm glad we went back and rewatched it. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. And yeah, you can see why that era was so hot. I mean, everything made sense. It was logical. There was still, you know, kayfabe's pretty dead at that point, true, but it's there enough where it works and the guys believe it. And man, that crowd was hot the entire time.
It was interesting to watch just from my point of view, having watched it the first time live and then seeing it again through different eyes. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I remember watching it live, but I'm also would have been, 13, 14 at the time. So, you know, you're watching it as, I was watching it as a much different type of fan than I am now. And, you know, it's one of those things too, where I didn't care as much about a lot of the technical sides to it or seeing, but just, yeah, it was watching it now through the eyes that I have as a modern fan. It really, really did sell it for me. And I'm glad to see them going into the Hall of Fame for that. And to tie it back into WrestleMania, I think that does lead to where when Rock comes out, that Austin's there, and we can get that Steve Austin giving the Rock a stunner at Mania moment that everybody will love. And since the Mania tickets are costing a literal arm and a leg, that would be a nice thing for the fans to see and send them home happy, since they're paying $600 a ticket or whatever it is.
Hey, and if you're interested in us doing any classic matches, like
yes,
review them, because reviews seem to do well for us. So
yeah, no,
let us know in the comment section, and I'll be happy to watch anything.
Yeah, especially if there's something specific or like a specific match or a show or something. I mean, we could even get to a point.
No, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I was thinking like Rumble '92 of making the whole Rumble match. You know, different things. I'm happy. Yeah, let us know. I like to see what people enjoy as well. Is there different? Maybe some things that are less popular too. Like we're happy to at least talk about it. So awesome. Well, this is a fun show. This is, officially our longest show, but we previewed WrestleMania and got some old wrestling talk in there. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends. We're seeing everybody who subscribes seems to watch and enjoy. So I feel like we just keep spreading the word out there and getting more people involved. It'll be fun. And again, we won't be on this weekend for Sunday Night Spaces, but we will be back next weekend at our regular time of 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great one. Bye.